Well, after I complained about how lackluster last week's episode was, the Bad Batch really came back and delivered a brilliant episode today. Hello everyone and welcome to Star Wars Archives. Today I've just got a breakdown of Bad Batch Part 9. I'm going to get straight into the breakdown, but before I do, I just want to say that if you enjoy this type of content or any other Star Wars content, be sure to like, leave a comment and to subscribe. The support means so much to me. So we start off back on Pabu with our squad waiting for our target to respond, provided by Fennec in the last episode. But we quickly swap over to Omega and Batcher as they find a mysterious cave with a ship in it, and we find out very quickly that the ship belongs to Asajj Ventress, which was so cool to see her finally on screen again as we all predicted it last week. As the rest of the Bad Batch approaches her, she reveals that Fennec sent her and she wants to know why they're investigating M-Count. Omega attempts to lie, so Ventress basically gives them a dummy 101 explanation on what the M-Count is. And after mentioning Jedi, Omega gets very excited and skips to the conclusion that she could be a Jedi because of this. And after Ventress is initially against it, she does agree to test her. After this, we see Ventress giving Omega her first test, which is as simple as her trying to balance some sort of fruit on her head. But we see she's very impatient and tries to take the easy route, which in my opinion this scene's very similar to when we saw Yoda train Luke and Luke train Rey. We then cut over to the Bad Batch watching her train, where Crosshair tells the others that he'd looked through Tech's old reports from the Republic and had found out that this is Asajj Ventress. Now obviously the Bad Batch don't know about the events from the Dark Disciple book, and they just see her as a war criminal. Ventress proceeds to send Omega off on her second test, which isn't really a test and more of just a way to get her out of the picture for a minute. She then basically tells the Bad Batch that she knows that they know, and if they plan to act on it, they should be very careful. And after some fighting talk from both sides, Hunter, Wrecker and Crosshair all pull out their blasters, but Ventress very quickly force pulls them away and they all engage in hand-to-hand combat. And Ventress bests all three of them with, to be honest, looks like some ease. But the scene was very well choreographed and almost looked like mocap, to be honest, so it'll be interesting to find out if they used any form of mocap similar to the end of Season 7 when Maul fought Ahsoka. But Crosshair manages to get away for a moment and give the rest of the batch their blasters. And as he does this, the Bad Batch theme kicks in, which from my knowledge, the last time it played was at the end of Season 1 when they all got together to escape Kamino. And before that, it was the premiere of the season. Now, I actually love the Bad Batch theme, and to be honest with you, anytime it comes on, it puts a smile on my face. So as they open fire on Ventress, she does the same and draws her lightsaber and blocks all the shots back. And we get to see her yellow lightsaber for the first time, which looks so cool. Omega then returns as she's finished her quest, but we see Ventress has once again bested all three of them with a lightsaber to Hunter's neck, Crosshair on the floor, and Wrecker being force choked. She explains that she's changed and she's not the same person she was when she was Dooku's apprentice, and that all of them were the pawns in the same war, just on different sides at the time. Omega returns to Ventress for her third and final test after both sides have stand down, but once again she fails this test as she fails to connect to her surroundings completely, not trusting in the Force at all. In frustration, she tells Ventress that I bet she doesn't even understand either, so why should she even bother listening? And basically, in a subtle flex, Ventress proves herself. And she always shows to us as well that she's not really involved in the dark side that much at all. Even though she did force choke Wrecker, we can see she has much more inner peace and is able to connect to her surroundings much like a Jedi does. But she does end up accidentally summoning a huge sea monster. She then basically proves to us and the Bad Batch that she does actually care Omega, because after Omega was dragged underwater by the monster, she swims under there and slices it with her lightsaber and saves her. She then proceeds to use the Force the same way Anakin does on Geonosis with the Reek and Grogu does with the Rancor on Tatooine, to calm the beast down, stop its aggression, and then the beast leaves. They all then proceed to return to the cave, where Ventress tells them that Omega does not have a high M count, and that she doesn't have all the answers and she doesn't know why the Empire are looking after her. But after Omega leaves, Crosshair tells Ventress that she's lying. And Ventress doesn't specifically say that Omega is actually Force sensitive, but she states that if she is Force sensitive, then she's not safe on Pabu and that she needs to leave the batch. And she needs to leave the batch to be trained. Now this could be by Ventress or some other Jedi that we haven't seen yet, but Ventress does imply a couple times throughout the episodes that she would be open to training Omega. Now I don't know if this will actually lead to anything, but it does leave us with more options to where all the characters could go at the end of the season. And then she leaves, giving us no real answer to how she survived the events of Dark Disciple, despite her saying that she might have a few lives left. Now, although this was frustrating at the time, I did see a tweet from the official Star Wars Twitter account quoting the voice actress, where she says that how she survived and even more content will be explored in future Star Wars stories. Now to me, this screams Tales of the Jedi, but we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I'm excited to see even more Asajj Ventress now we finally have her back. And that's pretty much it for today's episode. We're definitely going to get into some darker episodes, I feel. after Ventress tells them that they are not safe here. I think it opens up rooms for more bounty hunters to get involved. Now, we already saw Cad Bane in the trailer who's coming back, and I also believe we're going to see Boba Fett as well. As it is a show about the clones, he was previously mentioned in the series, and the voice actor for Boba Fett was actually in the studio voicing the younger clones earlier on in the season. So I'd be very, very shocked if we don't actually see him in this season. But we'll just have to wait and see. The show's coming to an end soon, so hopefully we get our answers about what's going on in Mount Tantus and even more. But that's all for today. Like I said at the beginning, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Check out my socials in the description and some of the shorts I've been posting, and may the force be with you, always.